Welcome back to PCOS Unfiltered, Nourish, Heal, Thrive, the show where we cut through the noise, ditch the shame, and talk about what it really takes to heal from the inside out. I'm your host, Lindsay, nurse, health coach, and a fierce believer that your diagnosis is just one chapter, not the whole story. Today's guest is Nicholas Arcata, a personal trainer who's passionate about helping people build strength, stay consistent, and create sustainable results. We're going to dive into the role of exercise on any health journey, why mindset and accountability matter just as much as the workouts themselves, and how to build a plan you can actually stick with. If you've ever felt like the gym is overwhelming or you're not sure where to start, this episode is going to give you both the encouragement and the practical tools to move forward with confidence. As a reminder, the content shared on PCOS Unfiltered is for informational and educational purposes only. The views and opinions expressed by the host and guests are not intended to serve as medical advice. Always consult with a qualified healthcare professional before making any changes to your diet, exercise, or treatment plan. The information shared is based on personal experience and expert interviews and is not a substitute for professional medical guidance. Now let's dive in. So we've talked a lot about the consistency and, kind of mindset, mental aspect of it. What percentage would you say? I'm just kind of curious that plays versus actually just, the programming and following the plan. Like, is it 50-50 or is it?
I don't think so. I think I think the mindset and the approach is more valuable. I think it depends on the person. A lot of people need if I have ABC lined up for me, then I just have to do them and I'll get there. I think other people are if I can show up and do something, that's a win,
Mhm.
right? And I'm personally more so on the side of I'm not a huge planner. I kind of just know if I show up consistently with intensity, I'm going to get to my goal. I think planning specifically can be really good once you have something in mind, though, right? So, percentage wise, I think it's more of the mindset shift, but I think um, showing up and following a plan is just as valuable. So, I would probably say like 60-40.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was a tough one.
It is. I was like, so I see both sides of it. And I've seen clients who, they don't need the specific programming, like they can show up and just bring it. And then I've
Mm,
seen clients who need to follow something or they're not going to do it,
yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm like it really probably can be person, dependent. I mean, I'm one that like thrives off of a plan and, I
yeah,
had my health struggle stuff happen and I had to cut out gluten and I was like, okay, no problem, like I'll just follow that plan now, but for a
yeah.
lot of other people, that's not the case. And so
Mm.
that's where that mindset, I think, yeah, and the consistency piece probably plays more of a role.
Do you
Um,
think with some of the clients you've had, um, how do you feel about that similar question? Do you think that if you can shift the mindset that they'll be better off, or do you think that here's a program, here's a plan in the long term though, like what happens
yeah.
once that plan kind of, I've been doing the same thing for a little while, like what do I do now? What's your
Yeah.
opinion?
Well, I think when it comes to nutrition, yeah, a lot of it is
Mhm.
mindset because probably like probably 80-20.
Yeah.
No, maybe close to that. But yeah, because if somebody's coming to me, it's probably because they've had these habits or they've had these thoughts around food most of their life. I
Yeah.
mean, going back to childhood and things that have happened and how food has played a role in connecting them to somebody or something. And so mindset plays a really big role in that, in breaking some of those habits and I think more for sustainability too.
Mm.
Sure, a lot of people can follow something like my big program is my 90-day program.
Yeah.
A lot of people can't even, if I just tell you what to eat for 90 days, that might be a stretch. We'll
Yeah.
say like 30 days, that
Yeah.
people can do it. But if you start really understanding why you're so attached to these foods, you're going to be more successful and set yourself up um, long term for long-term success as
Mm.
well. Yeah.
Yeah. And my head went to a couple places because I'm thinking like nutrition wise, right? Especially socially. Like
Oh my
it's
gosh.
it's a diet to eat clean and put the right things in your
Yeah,
body.
exactly.
And like if you're gonna go out to dinner, and I think a good one is like, I mean, gluten specifically. My roommate in college was gluten free, so like we would sit down and like, you have gluten free bread, and like you're gonna hear something from one of us like just kind of barking at him a little bit.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, as you
Mhm.
mature through it, it's like I know what's best for me. Like, and again,
Yeah.
that's all mindset stuff, because I'm gonna do my thing and I'm gonna feel better if I put this in my
Mhm.
body compared to what you guys are.
Yeah.
So like, say what you want, say what you will, but again, and it's hard. It's hard to
Yeah.
kind of be on the outside. And do you think
Yeah.
the 90 days, if somebody does the full 90 days, they're kind of in a different spot, right? Because it's the PCOS.
Hmm.
Um, so a little more specific for you, where you're trying to overcome an issue, right?
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of, yeah,
Um,
health issues and, energy plays a big role in that and hormones, obviously. Yeah.
yeah. I'm curious. I think it's definitely different from like 75 hard, which a lot of, that's a fad where, all right, I'm
Hmm.
coming in, I'm going 75 days, whatever it is. I think it's like a 2 workouts a day, read a book, one workouts outside, I'm on a diet, like all these
Yeah.
things. You go hard for 75 days, and then if you just go back to your lifestyle, it's like, well, what was the point, right? So
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
think that's a common one, like within our industry of, can you do it consistently for the rest of your days, or are you going to go on, off, and
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah. Like for my program, I think the people and 90 days is a
mm,
great time to make some changes.
mm,
A lot of other people though need maybe even close to a year to really
yeah,
like solidify it. A lot of them have some more weight to lose and then just be able to stick with that and feel confident in sticking with all the progress, that they made. But I think the most successful clients I've had is that they approach it as, yes, this is something I plan on doing for the rest of my life and I'm really going to get the most out of it versus, oh, this is a challenge, or this is just because to me that's like a temporary thing. A lot of people can complete a challenge, in
yeah,
30 days, 75 days, whatever that is. So if you
yeah.
approach it as like, yeah, this could really change my life, then you're also probably gonna stick more with it and really get everything from it versus, okay, this is a temporary thing. I can do this, you know,
No, I totally agree. Yeah,
for a
I
little
think
while.
it's along with that, the delayed gratification is just
Oh, for
something
sure.
where it hits different.
Yeah.
Just feels
It
better.
does.
Yeah, I
It
don't know.
does.
Yeah.
Well, and going back to the scale, because like I tell my clients, so they weigh themselves in the beginning,
Hmm.
the middle, and the end. They also do progress pictures and measurements at each of those times. And halfway through, they're feeling great.
Mm,
They'll do their measurements, and a lot of times they've lost a lot of inches in
mm,
many different places. The pictures are looking really good. Their face is slimmer. You can see the inches lost and all that. But the scale, the scale probably isn't really saying what they want to hear. Um, and then by the end of it, yes, they do lose. I mean, I've had clients lose like anywhere from like 20 to 30 pounds then in the 90 days. But
damn.
that's where, yeah, they have to realize like it's a process. Yeah, like I said, the kind of delayed gratification piece. It's a process. I think all my clients have said,
Yeah.
like I drill that into them because yeah, they understand it. It helps a lot. It helps a lot more to understand that it is a process. You're not going to get everything you want in these next couple weeks, but it will be coming, and there's so many good things happening along the way.
For sure.
Mm.
That makes me think. I got a question for you. How do you deal with almost like the underreporting, right? So if you're, especially again with us, right? I sit down with a client and I think it's a little bit on your who you're working with too. Like you need to get the honesty out of one another, and that should be established early on, right?
Hmm.
I'm not going to yell at you, like just what happened. Like let's,
Yeah.
and and it kind of ties all back in. But the underreporting, how do you kind of deal with that if maybe somebody doesn't?
I honestly, so uh one big thing with that is I don't accept anybody and everybody into my
Yeah.
program. They really have to
Hmm.
be ready. There's like, especially, we usually have a good hour-long conversation before, and there's 4 questions that I ask them at some point, and it's about their readiness, willingness, commitment to themselves, and if they're invested in themselves. And those can be very telling because that's going to tell me that they are in this, 100% basically, and I shouldn't have to worry about that.
Mm.
Um, because yeah, again, I mean, you can look up things, there's a gym on every corner, you can chat GPT it, whatever it is. Um, but clearly, that's not working. And like if you're just kind of scratching the surface and maybe trying to figure out like what you might want to do, that's great. Then you're probably not going to stick with it. So when they come to me, if they are truly ready and willing to make the changes that they need to make, then yeah, I really honestly haven't had too much of an issue with
Yeah.
it. And I've had some that like share the pictures with me and stuff. It's really kind of up to them, and some that don't. I do also do a tracker, a daily tracker, and going back to what we were talking about with stressing people out more because it's like, oh, one more thing I have to track. This literally just is, are you on track or off track?
Mhm.
Um, and so, and then they can put notes. I don't even like to say notes. They put wins off to the side. And
Yeah.
that's kind of up to them. So I also keep an eye on that so that if I see again a trend, that they're like off track more days than they should be, then we can have a discussion. But I think dealing with the underreporting really comes with that first conversation to see if they're even ready and willing and, in the right mindset. Are they just kind of still trying to see what's out there, or are they really ready to do the hard thing?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, if you could tell any of the listeners one thing about exercise, what would it be?
One, just one.
Just one.
I don't think exercise should be a punishment. So again, I mean, just kind of reiterating all the same things, but do what you enjoy within it, and I think
Yeah.
everything will flow, right? And kind
Yeah.
of just like you said, people are trying so many different things. You see so many things online, and being willing to maybe not be great at something at first, but you would enjoy it once you start rolling with it, right? Because
Mhm.
it's hard to find joy in something you're not good at. So that's why starting is so difficult. Because if you're not good right away, do you have the
Yeah.
willingness to show up and be bad for a couple of months? And then all of a sudden, right? And then all of a sudden you're good at it and now you like it because you're good at it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
whatever it is, I think that's again a good approach with anything. Are you
Yeah.
willing to be bad so that eventually you can enjoy it? And then once you're good at it, you're like, why wouldn't you want to be doing something you're
Mhm.
good at? So choosing the exercise for you that, why did you start in the first place? So I think there's common denominators of like, what's your why? Are you willing to be bad for a little while? And overall enjoyment and just
Yeah.
having a good
Just
time.
Yeah. Celebrate what your body can do. Yeah.
100%. 100%. But again, and then that's the hard part where comparison comes into play, right? Because if you're winning on your level, you're better than you were last week, great. And then it's
Mhm.
so easy to see somebody come across and like, oh, they lost 10 pounds in like how a month? Like, like, why am I even trying if they're doing it way better than me? Or like, I have a goal of racing at this time, but like they're killing it. So like, why would I even bother? Why would I try?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and that's just a lot of that negative get 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 out of your own way and do it for you,
Yeah,
you know?
for sure. Yeah. This is a great question.
Oh
Over the
boy.
next 5 years, what changes do you hope to see in how fitness professionals understand and support women?
That
Um,
is gr-
you know,
that is a great question. Um, yeah, I think within the next 5 years, similarly, it's just the intensity again, but more so, we have an understanding of, and you can go with the if you want to go menstrual cycle, if you want to go work-life balance, if you want to go understanding that not every day is going to be your day, right? So still just showing up. And I think
Mhm.
within the community as a whole, we're more supportive. And on the days that, you may feel or you don't feel confident in what you're doing, still like you showed up. That's great. Like great that you're here.
Yeah,
And I think that can relay within maybe a little bit more female based, but also on the male side too. It's
yeah.
let's, and I think that the industry is already growing in that way, in a good way, especially being out in San Diego at the time was very like that community is so you showed up and you gave it everything you had today. Like that's all we care about,
Mhm.
track clubs. And then again, that just, it's who you surround yourself with. So continuing that trend going forward is
Yeah,
really what I would say. What are your thoughts on
yeah.
that one?
Ooh. Well, I mean, I think just because of the growing um, obesity rate, we're
Mhm.
seeing just all the other effects of that with, I mean, yes, PCOS is one of those, insulin resistance ties into that big, but diabetes cases are on the rise and all this other stuff. So I think it's going to be more than just the fitness aspect and realizing like these bodies probably, haven't done some of these things for quite some time and recognizing all these different body types and what these people are going through and then tying that into a program.
Yeah.
Um, I would love to see that. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think on that note too, um, I mean, we're in, the era of information is so accessible. So
Hmm.
it's almost it's almost ignorance if you aren't aware of what doing certain things may cause, right? And I
Yeah.
like alcohol is terrible for you, right? And I partake, I still have a good time, I do my thing, but I'm aware of that. And
Yeah.
I choose to go have some drinks, but I know the cost and I'm aware of like the negatives. And I think
Hmm.
if you have the information on something and then you make a decision is different than just not knowing what's happening to you overall. So kind of like what
Exactly.
you were saying, right?
Yeah.
What are you putting in your body? All that stuff comes into play.
Yeah.
So the information going forward too, just being more aware.
Yeah. That's a great point for sure.
Mm.
Do you have any resources that you like to recommend to clients, and whether that's, apps, podcasts, books, just any tools like that regularly maybe recommend or have them use?
Yeah, I think um, I'm definitely a big podcast person. I'm a huge fan of Chris Williamson. He has Modern Wisdom. So that ties a lot into more of like the philosophical side of things, mindset, growth stuff within his realm.
Hmm.
And then who's on specifically, right? Like what episode you get different things. Some books I would recommend. Um, the book Burn by I don't know who it's by, but it's called Burn, And I think on the title page, it says like, if you eat food, you should read this book. Right. And it just, which I love. And I honestly, it's one of the best. It gave me a different perception, especially as a performer, like racing, and how our bodies use carbs as fuel and store non-used as fat, and right, like all the stuff, utilization of protein. Again, it's kind of the same thing as you have all this information, and if you understand like everything you eat, your body is using in one way or another, right?
Mhm.
So the timing of nutrients and all that comes into play there. I would definitely recommend that book, especially again, like, what if you eat something and you don't feel good after you have it? Like, why did you eat it? But there's there's a relationship with food that people have, there's an emotional connection,
Yeah.
and so many things come into play. And I think my biggest shift personally, and what I try to kind of teach people, is using food as fuel to fuel our brain and our bodies. What do we feel better on? What's going to help me
Hmm.
sleep better? What's going to make me perform better at work? All that stuff
Yeah.
is a great. So Burn's a great book. Top book that I probably would recommend, number one overall right now, is The Courage to Be Disliked. I just finished that up. Similar within all this realm of things, where you know believing in what you're doing and why, and if it's not for others, it's not for others. But I think especially when you're starting something new, and when you're on your fitness journey, I'm doing it for me, right? And
Mhm.
if you don't get it, maybe you never will, but that shouldn't be a problem. So two
Yeah.
great books right there. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to check those out. I don't know if I've heard of those
Yeah,
either.
they're phenomenal. I think you would definitely like Burn. And then the Courage to Be Disliked is like probably one of the best books I've ever read. So very
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially because like you were saying, so I have it's actually in like the show notes for my podcast, but 3-day food timeline tracker, because a lot of times we eat a lot of the same things over 3 days,
Yeah.
but you if you start tracking, why you're eating something, and then also how you're feeling after eating that. And sometimes it may not be immediately after, sometimes it might take a day or two, but you'll start noticing kind of some similarities. Okay, I had this and now I feel like this, and then my energy is even worse the next day. You kind of start noticing some of that. So it sounds like um that might play into that as well.
Yeah. No, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
um how can listeners best connect with you?
Uh Probably just my Instagram. Yeah. Nicholas Arcata, I think, is my username.
Yeah, and I'll put it in the
Yeah.
show notes too.
Yeah. Perfect. Yeah. Instagram would be best. Really all I
Awesome.
use. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, anything else to add?
No, I think we hit it on the head. I'm trying to think if I have any other questions for you. How many episodes does this make?
Oh, that I don't know yet, because we might be in the 40s by the time this
Hell
one
yeah. Yeah.
hits. Yeah,
Good for
yeah,
you.
yeah.
Nice.
And shout out to everybody listening in other countries, because I'm discovering that I've got a lot of listeners in
Hell yeah.
Africa and Jamaica recently, I've seen. So yeah, shout out to all of them
Wow.
too.
Wow, that's actually so cool. Damn. Hell
Yeah.
yeah. Good for you. Good for you.
Thanks.
Nice.
Um, well, thank you for joining me, for being here and talking all things, fitness with me today. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. I had a great time. Thank you for having me.
I hope you loved today's conversation with Nicholas as much as I did. Remember, exercise isn't about punishing your body, it's about supporting it, honoring it, and building resilience from the inside out. Whether you're managing PCOS, looking for more energy, or simply wanting to feel stronger, the right plan, combined with the right mindset and accountability, can truly change everything. If you want to connect with Nicholas and learn more about his training, I'll drop all the ways to connect with him in the show notes. And if you're ready to take the next step in your own healing journey, be sure to check out my other resources linked there as well. As always, thank you for being here with me on PCOS Unfiltered. Until next time, nourish, heal, and thrive.